and welcome. My name is Kathy A, and today we're going to do a special show all about Becca Cosmetics. And this is a very interesting line, and so what I decided to do was kind of research the history of the company, and then when we come back, I think what I'll do is a full-face tutorial from straight out of the shower to this. And you know, while this isn't perfect, it's a lot better than we started off with. So before we go any further, let's watch the history of Becca Cosmetics.
The Becca story begins with this lady, Rebecca Morris Williams. She was born and raised in Perth in Australia, which is in the lower left-hand side, for those of us who aren't so good at geography. She got her love of makeup from her mother, whom was very well groomed and beautiful, and so when she grew up, she wanted to be a makeup artist. She actually went to college and got her diploma in fashion trend. When she graduated, she became a well-sought-after makeup artist all through Australia, and in one of these instances, she met up with her husband. He was a hairstylist, and his name was Michael Buchanera. She noticed as a makeup artist that she was having difficulty finding good, high-quality makeup that was lightweight for all different skin tones. There are a lot of different skin types in Australia, like Aborigines and people of different color mixtures, and the available makeup in the 1990s just didn't cover all of the different spectrum of skin tones, so this was a concern for her. A study was done in which it was determined that 1 out of 3 women were wearing the wrong color foundation or didn't wear it at all because they hated the way it felt on her skin. Rebecca decided to create her own line of foundations. She hired this guy, Steve Shapira, to help her in her quest of finding the perfect formulation of a great powder base that would turn into liquid foundation and tints that would be suitable for all skin types and feel lightweight on the skin and yet look wonderful. Most makeup foundations are created from rocks and minerals. They're processed through different machinery, and they come out as very fine powders. This particular machine is a jet blaster, so it blasts them, and it gives the same effect as tumbling rocks does. It makes the edges rounder so they fit on the skin smoother. Now, after all of the powders are processed, they come out this way. The triple melt process is when it passes through these rollers at the end, and it creates a powder that's finer than most normal cosmetic powders. It's just so fine. This is what makes Becca Cosmetics stand out from the rest. They are triple milled, jet blasted particles. Becca Cosmetics is born, and Becca is of course a shortened, kind of cute name for Rebecca. Now, she wanted some help as far as the skin tones went, and she got an expert in the field. This is Elizabeth Reeves. She's a Kenyan-born Australian, and she's an expert makeup artist. She helped contrive a chart of different skin tones and different values within each skin tone of all different degrees and levels of tones, from fish belly white to the darkest dark. Becca Cosmetics were quickly picked up by a large department store chain in Australia, and they had a contest. If you could not find your shade of foundation in the Becca line, they would actually make a custom shade for you and give you $1,000 as well. The Becca line was very, very popular, and over the first few years, from 2001 until 2006, they were Australia's top cosmetic line. The ad campaigns were unique in that they reached out to a broad range of folks with different skin tones, and they appealed to the sporty in people, the trendy, fashionable folks, the really casual people, and the really glamorous folks found something at Becca that fit. In 2005, Becca launched their flagship store in London, England. This futuristic boutique was the beginning of their wide expansion around the world. They now serve 36 countries and are featured in thousands of stores. The Becca line had some really innovative products, especially their beach tint, which became quite famous, a very, very user-friendly gel that worked both on face, cheeks, and lips. And of course the foundation sticks and brushes are legendary, especially their large fan brush. The driving force behind this, of course, has always been Rebecca, and she insisted on having a color range that would suit all skin tones, from dark to light. The cosmetics are actually manufactured in Germany, and that really innovative spaceship packaging is created in a place in Italy. She also has plants in the US and around the world. Coupled together, this technology, matched with this really innovative packaging, makes for a really wonderful line. Now, Rebecca insisted that any store that carries the Becca line must carry the entire line. So Sephora is one of the stores that agreed to do this. They have to feature all of the shades, all the 32 shades, so that everybody has the opportunity to match their skin tone. And this is unheard of in the cosmetic industry and quite wonderful. You can visit the Becca website to learn more about the products and the history of the brand, and also watch tutorials and meet her makeup technicians. Becca is loved by celebrities and makeup artists and YouTubers far and wide, such as Helena Christensen, Naomi Watts, and Julia Roberts, who ironically was the subject of a scandal of airbrushing in magazines. This is something that's quite popular. None of Becca's push photos are airbrushed, which is a very, very unique thing. All of the models are true to life. This is what they look like. Now, Rebecca lives a full and happy life with her family. She has a daughter and a son, and she and her husband still live in Perth, Australia, and they have a cat named Humphrey. Of course, this is PETA certified, cruelty-free cosmetics, and with a selection that caters to the very lightest to the very darkest, we really owe Rebecca Morris Williams a lot. Wonderful line, Becca.
Now, wasn't that interesting? So what I'd like to do now is show you a full tutorial starting from the primers and going all the way to the lip gloss, and we do everything in between. So with the magic of video, let's go back in time and see my plain Jane face straight out of the shower. This is not for the faint of heart. Be with you in a moment.
All right, here is our whirlwind tour of Becca Cosmetics. And I'm starting off with a non-Becca item. Sorry, I didn't have the moolah to buy the eye primer, so I just opted for what I had, which was Jane. Now this is the Becca Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector. And they only had this primer in the Sephora I bought this in. And you can see by my reaction that it feels like it's sucking the moisture right out of your face. Those of you who have sweaty, oily T-zones especially will love this primer. But I, with my dry Sahara Desert skin, was horrified by it. I could feel it drying out my skin. It was almost like I'd put some kind of drying acid agent on my skin. Oh boy, don't let your face freeze like that. Next is the Becca Radiant Skin Satin Finish Foundation. And I got this on hotlook.com. There are only a couple shades left, so I got the porcelain thinking that it was going to be light because I'm light, not realizing at the time that there are 30 shades of foundation and that the porcelain is the lightest shade, so it is almost mime light. So what I did was I added the FX cover drops to it to make it just a little bit darker. So believe it or not, even though it's still skeleton white on me, it has the drops in it to make it darker than what it was. So that whole thing, the whole spirit of this makeup being so many different foundation shades is kind of lost on me in this particular demo, and I apologize. I did not get the right shade, and that really makes a difference. This is the Radiant Skin Creamy Concealer. The color is Banana. It's one of those twisty uppies. Now this formula dried awfully fast, and I took the banana one because again there were only 2 choices and there are actually 34 concealer colors, so again I got the wrong one, but this is Banana, and it blended in okay, but it was just set so fast. I didn't have enough time to really work with it, and I just felt that the whole process felt drying. Just checking out where it was sinking into the dings and dents, and I can see where that primer had dried out parts around my nose and stuff. I wasn't very happy with that, so I'm making a face. God, I look my age, huh? Oh, okay, this is Becca Beach Tint Cheek and Lip Blush. This is something they're very famous for. The beach tints are very long-lasting, easy to apply, very blendable color for your cheeks. It's a gel formula. Smells like grapefruit. This is the color grapefruit. And I think actually goes on very nicely. Again, I got it on hotlook.com and it was the only shade available. So I think in a different shade I would really like this. As you're facing me on my right side, I have a lot of acne scarring there, so it looks like additional shadowing, but the makeup is evenly applied there. It just looks a little choppy. It didn't do very much for my lips though, but the taste of it was so delicious with the grapefruit. Now here's the little spaceship design bronzing powder, another hotlook.com purchase. So again, I got a dark contour shade, but I actually really like this. This went on really nicely, blended very well, and again, because of my acne scarring, it looks a little choppy on that side of my face, but it's actually quite nice. And I'm taking out some of my double chins underneath there. I did like this one very much, and I like the fact there's a mirror there. The packaging's really cool, and there I am trying to smooth it out, but you can't smooth out an acne scar unless you get surgery. Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Opal. This is the one everybody talks about. It comes in a powder form, and this happens to be the liquid gel form. It's okay. It's nothing really completely special, and I feel that if you have it on over a powder, that it does mess with your makeup a little bit. Now I'm putting it a little bit underneath the brows because it does show a lot of shimmer, and you can see there's a lot of shimmer on my face. It is a beautiful color. I think Opal is the prettiest. And now just to take out some of the extra glow that I don't want, that's the Hard Candy Fast and Fabulous HD Setting Powder. And now I'm into the eyes, another spaceship created thing. Becca Ultimate Eye Color Quad, and this is the Eclipsed Quad. This is still available through the Becca website, and I think Sephora's do carry it online. I didn't care for it at all. This is the bronzer I'm going into for a crease color because the quad didn't have a good crease color in it. So I'm just using my bronzer. I do that a lot. If I have a matte bronzer, I will use that as my crease color, and I think it helps kind of make the whole face kind of work together better and look more uniform when you're using similar colors on your eyes as your cheeks. Back to the quad, going into the darkest shade, which I believe is a dark green. I don't like the formulation of this. I don't like the way it blends, and I don't know, it's just something about it. I mean, I use so many different types of eyeshadows. This one, the blendability wasn't there, and I was trying a variety of different brushes just to make sure that it wasn't just me. Now I'm using the blue there in my little centered dot area. Going into the eye gel eyeliner, and this color is called Neo Classic, and it's actually a very dark charcoal gray. This is a dry powder gel formula, which is a unique feeling on your eye. It's not harsh at all, and I really like that. It goes on very easily, and you can work with it after the fact, and you'll see that I've smoothed out some of the harsh lines after I get blending it a little bit. I really like this a lot, and I think I would try another color in it. Again, I think I got this on hotlook.com. It's the only way I can afford some of these higher end brands, but you are limited in colors a lot of times with Hotlook, and it takes like sometimes 2 months to get them in, which is why this Becca Docu-torial is taking so long to produce. You see, I'm blending out that harsh line at the end, and you can see it's more of a softer triangle now. Going into brows, and again, I couldn't find a brow pencil from this line. I know they have one, but they didn't have one at the Sephora, so I'm just using my Circa Beauty brow pencil, which is kind of a waxy blonde formula, just to kind of get it done. And I don't fuss over my brows too much. I don't make a big deal out of them. I think they look too clownish if they're too big on older faces. So I have what they call the lady style. Using my Tarte eyelash curler. Don't I sound like I'm name dropping? I'm just doing one eye, and I've been doing this lately, just doing one eye. This is the Becca Ultimate Mascara. I figured that my eye is curled, my eyelashes are curled, and when I put the mascara on, I can have a fresh curl on the other side if I curl it just before I put the other side on. So this took actually about 4 coats to get any kind of a volume out of it. It's a little bit of a dry formula. I didn't really care for this. See how I'm going on the other side now? And I'll have a fresh curl there to put the mascara on. I don't know why, but I used to always just curl both sides, and then I'd spend a long time on one side, and of course the other side, that curl could have kind of undone itself a little bit by then. So I think this is a way I'm going to keep doing it. And I do my bottom lashes. I know there are some camps that think you shouldn't, because from a distance it can look like black eyeliner if it's too thick. And on me it always looks like I'm wearing black eyeliner on my lower lashes, and I don't. But I like that. Can't take all of the disco out of the girl. This is my e.l.f. makeup remover pen. It's really just an infused felt tip that has oils in it, and it takes away any of the makeup smears, like the mascara smears, or even like concealer. If it's dry and cakey on there, you can put that over and it helps. Now we're going into the lips, and this is the Duo Lip Liner. And the shade is Nude. They had 2 shades. They had a darker shade, and then they had this nude shade, which is actually still a little bit darker. It's darker than my lips, so you can see a very defined line, and that seems to be the style right now. On the other side is a nude pencil, which you can use almost like a Wonder pencil from NYX. You can use it as a concealer as well, and you can highlight your Cupid's bow with it. So it's a double-sided pencil you have to sharpen. Going into lipstick, this is Eloise, another one of my Hot Look purchases. It's kind of a matte formulation, the lipstick. I'm not sure I'm crazy about it, but it did cover well, and it looked very creamy on my lips. And it is a pretty color. I didn't stop there. I got the Ultimate Color Lip Gloss in Autumn Punch because this looked like Marsala to me. This looked like the color of the year for 2015. It's a nice vanilla cupcake smell to it. And I thought it looked really nice. A little out of my zone, but hey. And we're done.
So this is the Becca face, and I really enjoyed this. Actually, I thought it was a lot of fun. There were a couple products here that I'm really not sure about. Maybe it's just a color choice, but I didn't like the eyeshadows at all. I didn't like any of them. I didn't like this light color. I didn't like the medium neutral, which I, can use in the crease. There was just something about their blendability that bothered me. These colors didn't seem to work as a set. This is kind of moss green, there's kind of a gray blue, kind of a taupey brown, and then this light goldy yellow, which comes off a little too orange as far as I'm concerned. Just a little bit too orange, so it really wasn't, I couldn't use it as a base because it was all shimmery. And I don't know, I just didn't like this. I did get this on hotlook.com, so I cannot return it, but I don't know. They did have Becca's shadows, eyeshadows in long strips. There was like a neutral one, and I have those browns in that about 50 times over, so I just didn't want to risk it. I thought I'd get something with some colors to it, but honestly, using this in between, it really is almost invisible. It doesn't really show up that well. The colors lasted okay through the day. I didn't have a problem with it. I did like very much, I did like the eyeliner, and this is in Neo Classic. This eyeliner is really, really a pretty, it's kind of a dry formula, and it is a dark charcoal gray formula. I don't think it's black. It's really way too light to be a black. I think it's more of a charcoal gray, but it goes on really nicely. It stays almost like a waterproof eyeliner, and there you go. You can smear it out a little bit, but I really did like this very much. I thought it worked out really nicely, and I could wing it out using my own brush. The mascara was a dry formula. it took like forever to get any kind of volume at all, and it did clump up on my lashes, and it made those little dots at the end of my lashes, so the mascara was a fail. I did very much love this lip liner. I thought this was such a cool concept of having the nude color on one end so that you could go over your Cupid's bow, or even actually you could probably use it almost like a concealer pencil as well, almost like a Wonder pencil from NYX. So I like the idea. It's almost like having a duo product. And the lip liner itself, it stays all day. And it's a darker color. They only had 2 colors where I went. There was a Nutty, I think, was one color, and then there was this one which was nude. And this nude is a dark nude, so it does that, you know, that thing that's really popular now where you kind of go a little darker than your lips and then kind of a slightly lighter color to make your lips look larger. Dangerously close to that thing we did in the late 80s with the black liner and the pink middle, which was very like streetwalker trampy kind of thing. I don't know. Somehow or other it's back in style. So the lipstick was meh. You know, there really wasn't much to it. This one doesn't have a scent to it, this particular lipstick, and I thought it was really blah. It was a matte formula. I mean, it did look very polished, and I could wear it in the daytime at work, but I just didn't think very much of it. And now this is Marcella, and this is a color, it's not called Marcella, it's called Autumn, I think it's called Autumn Soup or something like that. But this is the Marcella color. Remember the Marcella color is supposed to be the color of 2015? I bought this. It's out of my comfort zone, but I wanted to have something in the Marcella shade for 2015, and so this is what I opted for. And I actually don't mind it. It is a little darker. For my comfort zone, it's a little out there, but I think it looks okay. It smells like cupcakes, and when it smells like cupcakes, that's just fine with me. It goes on really nicely. It reminds me a little of those Sephora lip gloss glosses, which I really love, which I can't use Sephora anymore, obviously, because they're not cruelty-free. This bronzer was very nice. It's a matte bronzer. It does blend nicely. I did use it in the crease for a crease color, but I mean, it's nothing. There's nothing special about it that I would run out and get just this one. The Opal highlighter is, of course, a really nice highlighter. This comes in a powder form or a liquid form. I'm not sure because I haven't tried the powder version of this, but the liquid's very easy and convenient to use. I think it disrupts the makeup underneath a little, though. It did seem to shake up things a little bit, and I'm not sure I cared for that. So, but I do like Opal the best out of all the colors of these skin highlighters that they had. The Opal was the one that I liked, and that's this kind of goldy, rose goldy color. The porcelain of this was so light that I just looked like I was wearing white face. I looked like a mime. So what I did was add some of those drops from FX Cover, Cover FX. I used those drops, and because that color was too dark for me, I used some of the drops in this. That's why I cut open the top. I poured out all the stuff into a little glass bowl, and I mixed some of the drops in, stirred it up, and then I put it back in here. I stapled it and I covered it with packing tape. So I remixed the color so it's darker than what it did, and it does match me a little better. It's still not perfect, but it's better than it was, and I do like the formula. What really threw me off, and I was really shocked, was this primer. Oh my God. If you have large pores and oily skin, especially going into summer now, this is going to be perfect for you. But for me, with my dry skin and wrinkles and stuff, OMG, this was the worst. Absolutely the worst. Even in my fingers, before I put it on my face, it was like making this dry, tacky, suck the life out of you kind of feeling. I don't think I've felt a primer that immediately started drying things. It was almost like wearing a face mask. That's what the closest feeling I can describe this to being. And it was like $34, which is, you know, that's outrageous for a primer. Outrageous. Now the beach tint I got in the red grapefruit, and the nicest thing about this, other than that it is a subtle color, it does stay all day, it does stain nicely, it's easy to manage, it doesn't look blotchy when it's on. The color's a little bit weird, just a little bit weird. I can't quite pinpoint. I think it needs to be a little more, either a little more coral or a little more mauve. I don't know, it needs to go in one direction or another, but where it's at now, it's just not, it's not that great a color. It smells like grapefruit and it has a taste of grapefruit, so when I put it on, it's supposed to be a lip and a cheek tint, and I don't know, it works better as a cheek tint. As a lip tint, it barely did anything at all to cover my lips, and there's not a strong enough color to do anything at all. I just was disappointed in this product in general. The concealer I didn't like. This is the banana color, and it was very dry, again very dry, and it seemed to dry almost too fast. It set too fast for me to work with it, and I hate these kind of things where you have to keep turning them, but you can see there that it comes out, it's very, very dry, and it looks okay, but it's not bright enough for me. I would like something a little brighter in that triangle area, and that just didn't cut it for me. So I was disappointed in the long run. I was hoping for more from this brand because I like the idea of this brand, but it was not one of my favorites. So hopefully this has been helpful to you, and you could see what some of the colors look like on older skin and some of the formulations. And again, if you have dry skin, don't even go near this primer. Oh my God, this can't go back to Sephora fast enough. Oh man. They did have an eye primer, but I had spent so much money on this line, and I just didn't want to take every single thing back. I had a feeling I was going to be taking something back. So anyway, I hope everybody's having a wonderful week. Have a beautiful day. Take care. Toodles.